Hello, everyone, and welcome to Kandid Konversations with Kate. Here. Okay.
There we go.
Are we there? Sorry, everybody. Had a couple technical difficulties. This is Kandid Konversations with K and K. I am Kimberly Coleman, aka Sister Girl Speaks, and right next to me is my podcasting sister, Kay Renee of Kieran's Nuggets. Good Saturday morning, Kay.
Good morning, Kim. How are you? And good morning to our viewing audience as we are on this, is it third Saturday? Third Saturday of April, the day before Resurrection Sunday. And I don't know how the weather is in Oklahoma City. Here in Chicago, there's not a cloud in the sky, but don't let that fool you. It is cold.
Oh my goodness. Well, as you all know, as Kay just said, happy Easter to everyone. Easter weekend. Of course, yesterday was the day of Good Friday, the day that we commemorate that Jesus Christ was crucified. I was able to tune in to a few of the 7 last words. Even though I live here in Oklahoma City, Chicago has the best services for 7 last words. Mm-hmm. So at Trinity United Church of Christ, it was all women. They call that usually the Daughters of Thunder. And I didn't recognize many of the women that were there on the dais, but I did get to hear Bishop Vashti McKenzie, the first bishop at AME Church.
Yes.
Yes. And I've heard her several times at 7 Last Words, and she was excellent. And then after that, I listened to Bishop Jakes at, that was in Atlanta at Jamal Bryant's church. And Bishop brought the word, of course. And then I was able to listen to my former pastor, Pastor Frank Thomas, at St. Sabina last night. Okay. And if you get a chance, go on St. Sabina's website and listen to, Freddie Haynes was there. There was a few other people that many people recognize, but Pastor Frank, my former pastor, who licensed my brother, brought it. He brought it last night in about a 20-minute sermon.
Wow.
So I love 7 Last Words. Chicago has the best 7 last words in the country.
That's a good thing. Yes. Well, we have a lot to talk about today. Yes. We're going to have a show of hot topics. As before we get started, we knew we were going to have a guest. Unfortunately, she had an emergency. So you just got the ladies today, y'all. And that's not a bad thing. Not a bad thing.
Well, you and I had some great weeks last weekend. Yes. I was in Chicago.
Yes, and I missed you, girl.
I know, but you were recovering, so that's okay.
I was.
You were recovering, but I felt your spirit, and I feel you telling me don't eat too much, which I did not, and I did not get sick on this go round. But I did have my popcorn. I had my rib tips.
I saw that,
and I had my pizza.
That's okay. That's all right. There's nothing wrong with indulging. It's just you have to indulge in what, Kim? Moderation.
Okay.
Indulge.
But, what I love about Kay, one of the many things I love about Kay is she has an appreciation for the arts like I do.
Oh my goodness.
And when you live in a city like Chicago, there's so much to do. I was just telling Kay, I could have, if I was there for 2 weeks, I wouldn't be able to get all the things that I got in. And one of the things that I did do is I went to see Jackie Taylor's Just Like Coming to Church. And I have to tell you all, especially for those of you all who are in Chicago, I've been following Jackie Taylor for years. When my parents come to town, they go to see Jackie Taylor when she was in the old location. Mm-hmm. She has a new, wonderful location now. It's on the north side of Chicago. Mm-hmm. And she's, known for doing the other Cinderella. She's been in movies. Jackie is she's multi-talented. I auditioned for her once, and she gave me some great advice, but that's another story. But if you're in the Chicago area, please go see this musical. This is the first production that they've done post COVID, and it's very safe. They spread people out, and it is wonderful. And so please support that. Support that. And she has other plays coming up. She has about 4 coming up. I wish I could fly in for all of them, but please support Jackie Taylor and that crew there at the Black Theater Ensemble. Kay, what did you go see?
But before I say what I went to see, but you saw a certain smooth operator, Mr. Will Downing. How was that concert?
Oh, that was amazing. That was Will Downing's voice. I miss Luther.
Ah,
I saw Luther in concert about 5 or 6 times.
mm-hmm.
I remember the last time I saw him, he was real skinny. I saw him somewhere up there in Chicago. And when Luther died, that really hurt me. And I was like, because I was waiting for Luther to do the residency in Las Vegas.
Right.
I think that's what he was preparing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, there's nobody to see. Like, still, there's nobody. But Will comes close.
Okay.
Will comes close. So that
All
was at the City Winery.
right.
That was a great concert. Again, if you're able to go to the City Winery in Chicago, they have Regina Belle's coming up. They have some
Mm-hmm.
local artists that are coming up there too. So Chicago, you all are very blessed. Take advantage of all that stuff that you all got there. Everybody was there last weekend. Bill Hughley, the Joffrey Ballet.
Yeah, but the one play that you didn't get a
Joffrey
chance to
Ballet.
see, well, that too, but the one play that you wanted to see was sold out, that my big brother, Chat Daddy, and I saw opening night was BAM!
Relentless.
Relentless. Mm-hmm. I mean, I even love the name, Relentless. It's playing at the Goodman Theater. It will be here until Mother's Day weekend, May 8th. The playwright, Miss Tyler Abercrombie, who is locally from Chicago, West Side. The writing, the acting, the costume design, the set design is flawless. You will be riveted, ladies and gents. I give it 10 stars out of 5 stars, okay? It is very relevant. It's a period piece set in 1919 Philadelphia, and that's very prevalent because the year before, guess what happened for those historian buffs? The Spanish flu. Now, isn't that something how it's happened here in 2020 called COVID-19? Very relevant, speaking about race relations. And as I said, you will not, only 6 actors, but those 6 actors, just flawless. And as I said to my big brother, the 2 male actors, wonderful eye candy. Wonderful.
Well, I did hear that was.
That's all I got to say, y'all. But no, on a serious note, if you're in Chicago, great date night play, great historical play. If you want to take the family, please support Relentless. It is definitely worth your time. I'm hoping also there's another musical that's out 6, which it's here until July. I'm like, okay, I've been seeing the commercial, like, what the heck is this? Of course, reading it's about the story of Henry VIII's 6 wives. And so they put it into a musical form. Haven't seen it, plan to see it. So like Kim said, even though now things are opening up COVID-wise, although there have been cases that are slowly creeping, so y'all just still be careful out there. Still wear that mask.
Wearing your mask. Yeah, wear your mask. And when we went to and I think it was like that at the Goodman, when we were at the Black Theater Ensemble, and it wasn't like that at the winery. But when we were at those places, it was required that we wear a mask.
Well, at the Goodman, it was required not only to wear your mask, but to show your vaccination card. Now, I don't know if that
part. Really?
Oh, yeah. When we came in, they asked for that immediately. So I don't know if that's going to be lifted. That mandate will be lifted soon. I was reading that In other cities, it may be lifted the vaccination part, but you still have to wear a mask. But ladies and gents, if you have especially here in Chicago, if you have the opportunity, support the arts. It is very important. During this pandemic, they struggled, but they're now persevering, coming back. And it's just so important. I'm proud of my podcasting sister who is taking that leap of faith and said, you know what, I want to do this. And I said this, I think I said this to you privately, but if I had to do it all over again, do over, I'd be an actress. And I remember my mom saying, especially when it came to that whooping that I would get, not every day, but every now and then, I had a good acting. I would always play like, "Mommy, don't do that." But on a serious note, if you can, ladies and gents, support, not just here in Chicago, wherever you are watching this podcast, please support the arts. It is very important.
There is an upcoming show in New York I'm going to try to get to. Let's see what my bank account says, with Samuel Jackson, Daniel Brooks from Orange is the New Black, and John David Washington. Another rendition of the piano lesson. Nice. They were going to do it on Netflix, but maybe something happened. So it's going to be on Broadway now, and it is going to be directed by Samuel Jackson's wife, whose name just
Latanya Richardson. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, she will be directing it. She is she majored, I believe, in theater at Spelman.
Yes, she
Spelman
did.
College. So that's going to be coming to the theater in New York. And my thing to everybody is go to New York just one time to see a really good play. Go just one time. I heard that Michael Jackson musical is really good as well.
Yes, I heard. When I've
heard good things about that.
When I was working in New York years ago, I had the opportunity, and I wish they would bring this play back. It was off Broadway, but it was a story of Thurgood Marshall. And guess who played it?
Yeah, you and I talked about this. Lawrence Fishburne.
And I was blown away.
It was amazing. They did. You can probably find that somewhere on Amazon Prime. Just Google it. Lawrence Fishburne in Thurgood Marshall, and how he transforms from a young Thurgood Marshall to an old Thurgood. It's a one-man play. I got one of the last tickets in Washington, D.C. I was determined to see that play, and I squeezed myself between these two people, and it was sold out. It was at the Kennedy Center, and it was amazing. I'm sure it's somewhere on Amazon Prime or something like that.
Well, speaking of New York, we got to talk about this because this was in the news while we were off the air. Thankfully, he was caught. But can you imagine? Just imagine this, Kim. You're on your way, or you take your child, you tell your son or daughter, look, I need you to take the number 6 train to get to school. And someone comes looking normal, just like you and I, puts his mask on and puts a smoke bomb in the subway and starts shooting. Can you imagine that?
No.
Well, that happened earlier this week, Tuesday to be exact, where 62-year-old Frank James decided that he just wanted to kill some people that day. And literally, it caused so much pandemonium, chaos. But thankfully, he was caught within 24 hours because
he turned himself in.
Well, yeah, he did. But nevertheless, once they put your name out as a person of interest, they coming for you. And the bad part, I don't know if you've seen the videos that he had posted on social media.
I did.
I really feel, Kim, and we've talked about this on and off till we're blue in the face, and we'll continue to discuss this. This pandemic has really done some crazy snit to a lot of folks' minds, because folks have just gotten bat snit crazy since this pandemic. And, we're thankful that the individuals who were unfortunately injured, they're not life-threatening injuries, but to say with this man, which is really sad because he's African American. You know, anytime I hear stories like this, I pray, please, Lord, don't let it be one of us. And when you find it's not only one of us, that he's an older one of us, right? Because you know this man should know better. But
yeah.
the mental health that all of us are experiencing, I mean, ladies and gents, let's not get it twisted. This pandemic has affected us in all facets. And we just really need to, as I always say, and I will continue to say, and I know Kim can agree with this, we got to stay prayerful, y'all. We really need to stay prayerful in these days and times. And so, you know, even, and I would love to go back up to New York to see a play, and I will do that. But, you know, when you go to New York, let's be clear, like anywhere else, be aware of your surroundings. Just
Definitely.
be mindful of your surroundings.
Yeah, the last time I was there, I pretty much did Uber and Lyft, which is a bit expensive. But it was either that or see the big rats in the subway.
Ooh, child,
Which
you know,
huge. They are huge, but thank God that everyone in that situation is doing well, and is, you know, there's no casualties. But again, as they say, and I don't know if they say this in other jurisdictions, in DC, if you see something, say something.
That's right.
If
they
you
say
see
it
something, say
here
something.
in Chicago, especially when one of my former employers, he was the director of security. Whenever he would send an email, he always in that tag, if you see something, say something. And that
Say
goes,
something.
say
Say
something.
something.
And
Yeah.
you know, that just really hurt my heart, you know, hearing that news story, you know, finding out that I'm glad he did have the decency to turn himself in. But you got to wonder, you know, I feel for his family. I mean, just think if that was your father, brother, uncle, grandfather, how would you feel?
Crazy. It's
Okay.
crazy. Well,
So,
thank God that has been resolved,
yes.
and hopefully the rest of the Easter weekend will be peaceful. Praying for the mayor of New York, Eric Adams, who has COVID.
Yes.
He was very isolated, although he did go outside. You know, he was outside. He had his mask on. He has no symptoms. There was a bunch of people who have gotten COVID in the, you know, Nancy Pelosi had it. I mean, it was just a lot. And we also want to say, since we've been on, I believe since we've been on, we now have, well, she has not been confirmed yet, not been sworn in, Ketanji Jackson.
Ketanji Brown Jackson, Supreme
Yes.
Court Associate Justice.
Justice.
Ketanji
So when
Brown
Judge Breyer, right, when Judge Breyer retires in June, she will be sworn in.
Yes.
And when the new court comes in I believe September or October, she will be on the bench. And
Yes.
I have to tell you, I cannot wait to see that picture, because for the first time, the Supreme Court will not be majority white male.
That's
You
right.
have 4 women.
You have 4 women, and let's name them. Let's see if we can name them. We have, of course, Ketanji Brown Jackson. We have Sonia Sotomayor. We have Elaine Kagan. We have Amy Coney Barrett.
There you go.
Is that it? Is it? We have
yeah, that's it. Okay. Yeah. And the 2 black justices, we have Clarence Thomas and we have Justice Brown. And we have Judge Roberts and Alito. Do we name all of them?
I think Justice Roberts, Kavanaugh. Let's not forget him.
Kavanaugh. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we're pretty smart here. We need to be on Jeopardy or something.
We're very smart. Well, don't get that twisted now. Come on. We're very smart.
See, this is why I picked Kay to be my podcasting sister, because there are too many people, black, white, or otherwise, that can name all 9 judges on the Supreme Court of Saturday morning. Let's be real here. Even some of them can't even name them.
Okay, but that's all right. That's why we're good at what we do. Let's pat ourselves on the back.
Yes. But it was just an amazing. I love what she said, how she quoted Maya Angelou,
Yes.
and I get emotional thinking about those slaves that came here 400 years, 400 in 1619, and those that were at the bottom of those boats, as Dr. Maya Angelou says, living on a nightmare and praying for a dream. And you all can talk, people can talk about my people, you may, what did she say? You may write me down in history. I know I'm misquoting this poem, but still I rise. We are the only people who have come in this country with nothing, not even our name. And look what we have done. We didn't even have our name. We couldn't even choose who we would have sex with. Dig that.
Dig that.
Our children were stolen from. I mean, I could go through the roll. What we have done. So when people talk about Black people, you can't say nothing to me about us, because everything that the devil has thrown at us, we've thrown it right back and said, we doing this. And what Judge said, Jackson Brown, what she said was, we have come a long way, because what she understood, she didn't get there by herself. She mentioned Constance Mobley,
Yes,
a
Motley.
name that children need to know.
And
She
here's
mentioned
the thing: Constance Baker
mm-hmm,
Motley and
mm-hmm,
Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson
have the same
were
birthday,
born on the same day,
same day.
September
Yeah,
14th. Mark that on your
right.
calendars, okay?
Right. And this is just, what I loved, she didn't just say I or me. She said we,
We.
because it was a collect. Because I know people, Mignon Moore, who worked in the Clinton administration, who was a part of this project and getting her on. There were a lot of people, Eiffel, who used to be in charge of the NAACP Defense Fund, who was named as one of the people possibly to take that seat. I can't think of her first name. She was a part. It was a lot of people, a lot of Black women that were a part of getting this woman on this seat, working with senators and getting her the audience for them. So this is not just you just get nominated and you just go on TV. No, this is, you got to go through the taxes. You got to go through all of your stuff. You got to answer these questions. You got to stay up late at night. This is a big effort. So kudos to her for that. We want to, of course, as Kay prayed earlier, if you hear they're vacuuming here in my apartment building, praying for Ukraine. We continue to do that here. Um, I don't, we, you know, we're going to be positive and believing God that this will be over soon, and
Yes.
believing that right will overcome wrong, and believing that love can conquer hate. So, for those of you all who are able to, you can donate to UNICEF. This is a credible organization, and you can donate money. Of course, there are people that need help here in the United States. Not saying that they don't, but what the difference is that if we conquer this, we may be preventing a World War III.
That's right.
We may be, because the looks of this looks just like the start of World War II. Well, World War I as well. And that's what Putin is trying to do. So if we can conquer this, we can stop a World War III. Because World War III is not going to look like World War I and World War II. They're going to use nuclear.
And
So
chemical.
nuclear
And
things. Go
and
ahead. Mhm.
chemical. That's right.
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 So, it would be much more devastating than the previous two world wars. So we ask that you continue to pray for Ukraine. If you can send money and resources, please do that. There are other organizations. You can Google those, the Red Cross and other organizations that are doing things. So we just ask that you do that. Okay.
Yep.
So, T topics. Kay sent me something earlier this week about Molly Shannon, who used to be on SNL. She wrote this book. I guess it's an autobiography. Is that correct, Kay?
I guess so.
You can see when Kay does this, she don't have time for foolishness. That's Kay. This is Kay saying, I really don't have time for foolishness.
But we must
And
talk
in
about
the
it.
book, she
Let's talk
talked.
about it.
And in the book, Molly Shannon. For those of you who don't know, Molly Shannon, she used to do the skit Superstar,
Right.
Superstar,
SNL. SNL.
which I never thought was funny. But anyway, um, so I didn't. There's a lot of stuff on SNL I just don't get. I just don't get. Oh, remind me to talk about Gerard Michael, Carmichael. After this, I have to talk
Okay.
about it.
Okay.
So, she wrote in her autobiography or whatever this is that Gary Coleman made passes at her. Okay, now
Jesus.
maybe this happened. I don't know. But who cares? Of all the people in the world, of all, like, do you sit around and go, I wonder what Gary Coleman did when he was on. I mean, he was funny when he was on Different Strokes. God rest his soul. But Gary Coleman,
Has been dead for 12 years. Now, if he made a pass at her, of course there have been a lot of jokes about this because when this news hit, they said people said where are we gonna make the pass at because of course of his height. But not to dismiss Miss Molly, my thing is this: why are you mentioning this now? He's been gone for 12 years. I just question the time. Are you trying to promote your book? See,
mm-hmm,
unfortunately, some of
mm-hmm.
these Hollywood celebrities, Lopez and Affleck, I digress.
I was thinking that. I was thinking that.
I digress. Will use certain memorable moments to promote what they're doing. Now, there's nothing wrong with it. But something like that, there have been women, myself included, who have been sexually harassed. And it does a disservice when you do that. So again, and this young man or man, Gary Coleman, who's from the Illinois area, he was originally from Zion, Illinois, for those folks who don't know. She claimed, it's alleged, that he did something to her. The unfortunate thing is he can't defend himself because he's now spirit. So I just question the timing of that. And then
I do
quite
too.
honestly, her credibility may be at stake now.
Right.
Because at
I just, yeah, yeah.
people love Gary Coleman. Now, we remember with his parents who used their influence and manipulated his fortune, which was unfortunate. So people still love Gary Coleman. So if you're gonna make a statement like that, God dog it, you better have some serious proof.
I just, I guess maybe this is to sell books because I'm not buying the book. I don't hear anybody going, ooh, let me buy this, Molly Shannon book to hear about Gary Coleman. So, God bless her. I hope that she deals with her demons, whatever they are, and that she seeks help if she is not already, because I think that was the most irrelevant statement of the week. So,
Well,
leave that.
and speaking of people, let's talk about, Academy Award. We early this week we talked about Will Smith and I think I don't know if we talked about that he's been banned so for 10 years. We all know. But that story with Will and Jada is not gonna die. Y'all, we trying to deaden it. It just they keep like bringing it back to life. But it seemed like another Academy Award winning actor is in some trouble. Cuba Gooding
Who is
Jr.
that? Yeah, I was really surprised
Forcible
that case was Yeah, I thought that case had died out. I was really surprised that that was still going on. From my understanding, there won't be any criminal charges. He'll probably have to do some community service. Um, Cuba Gooding Jr. has always been a little off. I mean, even when he won the Academy Award, it was very strange. But again, I hope that he gets help or whatever he needs because he's talented in his own little way. But I was really surprised when I saw that ticker that came out about him. God bless him, and I hope that he also gets help. Here's the thing, you all, and this even goes back to the Will Smith thing. If you need help, get some
Ask
help.
for it, please.
There's help out there, even if you don't have a lot of money. There is help, out there. And I'm on Facebook, and some people put stuff on Facebook, and I just want to back channel them and go, get some help. Stop putting stuff on Facebook because some of us can't help you. If you need help, go to a psychiatrist, a therapist, your pastor, whoever you feel is credible, and get some help because
Please.
some of the stuff that people doing, you don't need to do. You really don't need to do.
As I said at the top of the show, when we mentioned about Mr. Frank James, something with this pandemic hit and this virus has
Mm-hmm.
really affected people's mental state. And it's more open now. If you need help, as Kim said, please ask for it. There's nothing wrong with saying, I need help. I've sought therapy. I mean, after
Mm-hmm.
my father passed away in 2013, and here's the thing about it: when you need to have that strong support system, because if you can't see it from yourself, if you have a strong sister, which I do, I'm very blessed that I have women in my life, my sisters from another mister. When they see that K. Renee is not right, they will speak on it, saying,
Right.
"Girl, they say, Karen, you need some help." And so I had one of my dearest friends. She saw it. She said, "Sweetie, you need to have someone to talk to someone." And I was open.
Right.
And you have to be. Here's the thing, though: you must be open, because if you're still stubborn and having tunnel vision, it's not going to help you. You know within yourself that something's not right. Just like when something's wrong with your body, we listen to our body. Well, we have to listen to this mental space between the ears, right? So there's nothing wrong with getting therapy. I feel for our children who have endured this pandemic. The
Yeah.
um because you think about it, Kim, when we were their age, if this had happened, it would do something very
Oh,
traumatic.
wow. Right.
So
And we didn't have the internet or
no.
cell phones or anything like that. So just jumping to another subject. Speaking of therapy and getting help, for some of you all watch the show, the Carmichael Show. I never watched it. In fact, I was thinking about binging it today. It was on
Okay.
NBC for a short while. The comedian Laurel, who I have some close family ties to, was on that show.
Okay.
The creator of that show, Jared Carmichael, has a special on HBO, and it is amazing. It is raw. It is open. And I'm not giving it away because he's talked about this on talk shows. He's coming out of the closet and he's dealing with a mother who is very religious.
Mm.
Who, it seemed like he was a mama's boy.
Mm-hmm.
And now she is having to deal with her son being gay.
Mm.
And now there's a division between them.
Mm.
And it is one of the best. I think I haven't seen a special this good. Chris Rock's Bigger and Blacker was good.
Mm-hmm.
The only one I think is better than this was Richard Pryor. I haven't
Okay.
seen a stand up as good as this is Richard Pryor. I highly, it's on HBO. I highly recommend this special. It is raw. It is painful at times, but very good, very good. Coming up very soon, on Sunday is Ladies First. I believe that's what it's called, and it is about the first ladies of the United States. That's on Showtime, so I'm gonna have to get a Showtime, and they're doing Michelle Obama, Eleanor Roosevelt, and Betty Ford. And Viola Davis is playing Michelle Obama. Viola Davis and her husband have produced this show, and she is going to that's going to be on Sunday. But talk a little bit about what Viola released this week, Kay. The statements that she made.
That's why I love this one, because we kind of, she's the yin to my yang. Y'all notice that? It's a good thing. Yes. When I read this article about Viola Davis, it didn't surprise me. It saddened me, because she says in her memoir that other Blacks didn't think she was pretty enough for, as you know, Viola has had a beautiful career, Law and Order, which I remember her from, right? But her, she's done breakout movies, The Help, okay? But How to Get Away with Murder, one of Shonda Rhimes' classic next to Scandal, she just broke out. And, in her memoir, she said other Black people said she was not pretty enough. And I'm going to tell you something that incensed me. We've got to stop as a people. This colorism, this snit has to stop. And I'm hoping that we will, and I guarantee you, ladies and gents, we will probably have a guest in talking about colorism, because it's a cancer. It's a disease that affects our community each and every day. You look at both Kim and myself, we're a different melanin. But I guarantee you, I can't speak for Kim's family, but I can speak for my family on both sides, where my complexion would be viewed as wonderful, whereas, I have family members who are of a darker hue, who are gorgeous, but they may not think so. Or the opposite, which happened to me when I was younger. One of my older family members, we had a family reunion in my mom's birthplace, and I was talking with her in her home, and I asked her, would she like me to get her something? And she said to me, no, I want my granddaughter to get it because she's prettier than you. Now I'm a young K Renee, not, older K Renee as you see now. And I had to do like, what did you just say? And she was of a darker hue. And I found that really sad. I really did. That this cancer affects our community more so, to me, than any other community. Because if you know, historically, when we were enslaved, the field Negroes who were of a darker hue will always be out in the fields. But the house Negroes, who are maybe of a lighter melanin, would always get, as people would think, perks. And there's been that division, that invisible line that you just don't cross. Well, guess what? We're going to cross that. And when I read her article and just reading what people had said to Viola. Viola is one of the most premier actresses of our generation, period. And she's drop dead gorgeous. So this has to really, it angers me that people of our own race will have the unmitigated gall to tell this woman, oh, we don't think you're pretty enough because, you're darker.
I'm going to take a different spin on this. What I think most people in our community realize how talented Viola is.
Of course.
I saw her on stage twice. And I saw her in both August Wilson plays. Um, and she won Tonys for both of the performances that I saw.
On
I can't
Fences.
remember King
Fences.
Fences, and it was another one she did with Brian Stokes Mitchell. It was called King something. And there was a dialogue in there that was so long that I knew that this woman was going to be a force to be read. That's before she was Viola Davis. What I think some people were trying to do was protect her and her not wanting her to get her hopes up too high. And I've seen this kind of in acting classes that I've taken, where some people have said, the acting coach will be like, well, what shows do you want to go into? And they'll say, oh, I want to be on this show. And the acting coach will be like, that may not be a good fit for you. And it's protecting that person from wanting to do something that they may get a no. Because in the acting business, you're going to hear a lot of no's.
I get that. I mean, I understand that.
So I get what you are absolutely right about the colorism thing. You're absolutely right. Excuse me. But I think her fellow actors who may have come before her. So, like, I give you an example. Shirley Ralph, who has been doing a lot of interviews lately since she has been on this show called Abbott Elementary. And at one time, Cheryl was big. She was coming off Dreamgirls. Yes. I believe she won a Tony for that.
She did.
Then she went into Hollywood. And what Hollywood told her, what are we going to do with you? And I think her actual what she actually said was, can we make you, because her and Tom Cruise, believe it or not, are about the same age. Can we pitch a movie where you're the love interest of Tom Cruise? And they couldn't. So as a result, for a while, she was on Moesha,
right,
and other things. So what I'm saying is, there may have been actors and actresses who had been in the field for a long time, people like a Shirley Ralph or Jennifer Lewis, who were telling her, not necessarily, girl, you ugly because you black, but girl, they ain't gonna let I can hear the conversation. That's really good that y'all doing that. They ain't gonna let no black skin, no dark skin girl do that.
But it's a double standard, because as you were talking, the one actor I'm thinking about who is no longer with us, who left us here, is Sidney Poitier. Now, would you think they would tell him that? I don't think so. So again, there's a double standard, and I'm hoping we will definitely bring a guest to speak on colorism, because it needs to be talked about, because I'm really tired of, and it affects this is generational type of disease and dysfunction. You understand? I mean, this affects
because look at it, Kay. I don't want to. I'm sorry. Look at Cicely Tyson and look at a Jane Fonda.
Duh.
And Jane Fonda, who I love,
I do too.
Who I want her plastic surgeon when I get older. But look at those two careers. And Cicely Tyson, she won a Tony at a very older age. She won it for I can't remember the name of the play. She was with Felicia Rashad's daughter. She was nominated for one, as far as I know, one Academy Award. I know she won an Emmy.
And she won an Emmy. That's correct.
Right. But I'm sure that she would probably say the thing, and I have her autobiography right here. The amount of scripts that she was offered were very limited because of her dark skin.
I know.
And
that's sad. And that's sad, because
it is.
When you talk about, see, Viola is in that category with a Cicely Tyson, and it's just really sad that, again, our community, if any, we got to deal with the other communities on a regular basis, but not in our own community. And that's
Yeah.
the point
Mm,
that
yeah.
I'm really trying to make. We should
Yeah. I got
embrace
you.
and love all, because we are all different hues. That's what we're made from the lightest to the light to the darkest to the dark. And there's nothing
I
wrong with
think,
that.
and I think things are getting better. You have Angela Bassett, who's the highest Black woman who was paid on um, the show 911 that I've never watched, but I heard is very good. Of course, you have Regina King. A lot of us are making our own content. Lee Daniels is getting ready to produce a multi series, multi episode series on Sammy Davis Jr.
Yes, I read that.
So, as Omar Epps was on the Breakfast Club, this is a great time to be a Black actor or actress in Hollywood because there's so many things. But then again, you have a show like Lovecraft Country that was on HBO. They got the episode, they got the ratings, they got the multi Emmy nominations, multi screen nominations, and HBO still killed it. Still killed it.
That's why you have
So
to,
it's a
that's why you
struggle.
have to own the studios. I like a Byron Allen.
The tire theory. Yeah.
That's why
Yeah. So
you have to really own your career behind and in front of the camera. That's
right.
one thing that
Right.
Halle Berry had said. You gotta own the whole process. But
Right.
again with Viola, we're gonna put it out. We're gonna put it out there, Viola. We love you. We adore you. And if you ever want to come on Kandid Konversations, we welcome you, Miss Viola, and your daughter
well,
Genesis, and your husband. Now, how about that?
uh, um, on the 27th, I believe, of April of this month, she is going to be doing a sit down on Netflix with Oprah Winfrey about her memoir and, of course, about the show that is going to be on Showtime. So we look forward to seeing that. Oprah always does really, really good interviews, and we're excited. We love Viola. She is
And
so accomplished and
and
such a great.
and just
Did
a
you have
huge.
anything else you want to talk?
Well, guess who I did a surprise visit to? The Queen. I was glad to see this.
Oh yeah,
Prince
yeah.
Harry and Meghan, and Duchess Meghan, they made a surprise visit to Queen Elizabeth. And I
Hmm.
was glad to see that because their family, talk about raptured and fractured, their their family is definitely very fractured. But they made a surprise visit. And I was glad that the media had no knowledge until after the fact. So, by them doing that, they really wanted to. One, I'm sure Prince Harry misses his grandmother because they had a wonderful relationship. And two, the Queen is 95 years young, y'all. Even though
And just dealt with an illness.
she had COVID. So, I think I'm hoping that their relationship, even with his father, the Prince Charles, that they can start building that because, one day we will be talking about Queen will be joining with her Prince Philip, who I can't believe it's been a year since he's been gone. And as quiet as it's kept, Prince Charles is going to need Prince Harry. I mean, Prince Edward, we adore him, we love him and his wife and the kid and the children, but I was really happy to see that Prince Harry made and Meghan made the attempt to see the Queen, and hopefully they can start building that a better relationship. So that was kind of good to see.
Yeah, I think that they have developed a balance. I think they will begin to develop a balance of having their own lives and still participating in the monarchy.
Right,
Because I'm glad that Prince Harry recognized some of the things that he saw that hindered his mom, and
yeah,
he didn't want to keep that going.
right,
And although he has obligations, he's not obligated like his brother William, who will
right,
one day be king. His obligation is, to do charities and all this other stuff. But what he realizes, I have more control over my life than my father and my brother do. And I'm
exactly right.
glad that and raising children who will be more whole and organically
Yes.
and as normal as possible. If you can be normal with the royals. So that's great. That's great.
Yep.
I'm very happy for them.
Absolutely.
Do we have anything else?
Well, as I said, we said at the top of the show that we were going to have a guest to talk about, even though this is Easter is tomorrow, but there's an unofficial holiday that's coming up on Wednesday, to be exact, better known as 420. Now, for those who don't know what 420 stands for, it's called Weed Day, but it's really the recognition of legalized cannabis. And I will admit, I am the first one to admit, because I never it never inhaled, as Bill Clinton would say, when I was younger. But as we've gotten older and knowing some of the benefits, not only of cannabis, CBD or cannabidiol, that's the proper term, and hemp, there are just wonderful benefits of this plant, which this plant has been around, y'all, since beginning of time. And it's, we're hoping one day it will be legal from a federal standpoint. It's legal in 36 states right now, but we hope that it will be legal, and it's in the docket for the Senate to vote on legalization of cannabis. But 420 will be coming up on Wednesday. And so I don't know if you've had the opportunity to use CBD. I have, and I've seen the benefits in a salve as well as a tincture format. Because if you endure pain and having, it definitely mitigates that. So, for those, if you want to know more about 420, you can Google it. And, it's really great to see that evolution, because interestingly enough, by 2025, marijuana cannabis sales will exceed close to $30 billion. And in the interesting part, ironic part about it is, back in the day, we as African Americans were marginalized, and it has been disingenuous in our community. But guess who's making the money, y'all? It ain't us. So
Right.
all I got to say is happy 420 to those who celebrate it. And we will have our special guest to come back to talk about, because she is definitely a historian on cannabis, on CBD. And, the one thing now that I think needs more than anything is educating. We need to consistently educate our community, because this plant has been around since the beginning of time, and God gave us his plant. So we should be able to, like he gives us everything else, we should be able to use it for our benefit. So happy 420, y'all.
Yeah, we also need to talk about the disparities of how people are sentenced
Yes.
with marijuana.
Yes.
And and that is kind of evening out. Many of those people that have been incarcerated have been let go,
Right.
because it is not manslaughter or murder.
Right.
So that's something to think about. Again, we want to say tomorrow we celebrate that our Savior
Yes.
has risen.
Yes.
We celebrate, but not only that, last night, Easter, Ramadan, and Passover all were happening at the same time.
How crazy is that?
Ramadan started about 2 weeks ago. Good Friday was yesterday, was Easter weekend. And Passover, the people were doing Seder last night. So it really goes to show you all that we are all intertwined in this together.
Mm-hmm.
We are all come from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Did I get that right?
You did.
Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But because of some stuff that happened with Abraham, things split.
Mm-hmm.
And you can go into your Bibles and look at that. But we all as you can see the intersection of these religions. We are all in this together. We are all in this together. We worship the same God. We worship the same God. But he comes in different forms for different people. People may disagree with me on that. But I could do a whole sermon on that. But we worship the same God. So we say happy Easter, we say blessed Ramadan, and happy Passover for those that celebrate that.
Amen.
So we serve a risen Savior. And my favorite Bible verse is when Mary Magdalene and her sisters went to go see Jesus, the angel says to her, "Why do you look for the living amongst the dead?"
Mm.
And I praise God for sending his son to die on the cross so that we may have eternal life. Kay, did you have, while we close up the show today, did you have a candid for us?
Heck, our show has been candid. So, I mean, especially talking about colorism, which is I'm very passionate about because unfortunately, as I said, it's a disease that affects all African American families. I don't care, they may hide it, but it's a disease that needs to be eradicated. And I'm hoping with Viola being so raw, so honest, that it can get the conversation started. Um,
I
because
agree.
all of us, we are made in God's image and likeness. There's a reason why we're here, and we're here to make a difference. And God does not make anything ugly. So if he doesn't make anything ugly, why would you even think just because you're a different melanin that you're better than someone else? You're not. You just have different gifts. And that's the only difference. We're all made in his image, but we all have different gifts. And it's up to us to find out those gifts and be able to spread the love. As I mentioned in my yesterday's nugget, that what is your most beautiful asset? I have a few, we all have few, but the one who had the best asset, our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, he gave that asset his compassion, his empathy, his unconditional love for us when he died on the cross. So as we continue to celebrate this holiday weekend, remember what your best asset is and use that asset to help others. Because at the end of the day, y'all, it's not going to be when you leave here how much money you made, how what you got in the bank account, what you're driving, who you're wearing. Someone's going to ask, did that person help someone when they needed it the most? Did that person say a kind word for them? Did that person uplift their spirit? That's what's going to be more important than all this other outside stuff. So that's my
So to
candidate.
piggyback, thank you. And to piggyback on what Kay said, if I can help someone, then my living will not be in vain. So I'm going to leave it. Kay, did you have a candid? I'm sorry, a nugget.
Of course, I'm going to have a nugget, and this nugget is simply this: never give up on something you really want. It's difficult to wait, but it's more difficult to regret. Hashtag live your life without regret.
Yes. And for those that live your life without regret, and for those who would like to, you can get Kieran's Nuggets. That is the website. I did everything right on here.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you all, we have some exciting things coming up. We don't want to get the cat out of the bag yet. We have some exciting shows coming up. We're working very hard to put together a great show for you all. Please spread the word about our show. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscribe to our Facebook page. I hope to show that right now. You'll see that. I should have had that scrolling throughout. I'm trying to maneuver all of this and talk at the same
And she's
time.
doing good.
But we're excited about this show. We believe that God is going to do miraculous things with this show. We ask that God expand our territory.
Yes.
We ask God the prayer of Jabez. God bless us indeed. Protect us, Lord, for anything that may cause harm. And then, Lord, we ask that you expand our territory. Expand our territory. Not that we can get rich or anything like that, so that we can help. As Kay said earlier, we want to help people. And we believe that this vehicle that we are using right now can help people be their best selves. So with that, I am Sister Girl Speaks. Chicago took some of my voice last week. And this is Kay Renee of Karen's Nuggets. We'll see you next week. We have a great show planned next week. And happy Easter. God is
Happy
risen.
Easter. Bye. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.